Recording started.
Thank you. So welcome again to the webinar today, Publishing on the Web for Free with GitHub Pages. My name is Karen Larson and I work for DPI, Discovery Partners Institute, which is a division of the University of Illinois system. DPI is one of two partner organizations working on Tech Ready Illinois, which is hosting the webinar today. Before we get to the main portion of the webinar, let me tell you a little bit about Tech Ready. So DPI had originally planned to launch our workforce development initiative later in 2021. And when COVID-19 came along, everything got crazy. And with so many people unemployed in the state and across the country, we knew that we wanted to do what we could right away to help as many people as we could. So we partnered with another local group called P33 and launched Tech Ready in early June. Tech Ready is focused on increasing the availability and access to training programs in high demand tech fields. Through many of our programs, certificates are available, and in some programs, student experiences are included, which includes things like study groups, coaching, and projects. We even curated the entire program with leading employer-driven input. And we've grouped our learning tracks. We grouped our programs into 4 learning tracks: data and analytics, cloud computing, software development, and cybersecurity. In total, we have 12 providers now delivering over 30 different programs that include content for all skill levels from introductory to advanced. They run from a full weekend to 32 weeks of learning and from free to several $1,000s for a full certificate. To learn more, visit us at www.techreadyillinois.com. So now let's get to the subject at hand today. Today, we're going to show you a way to create a free web page to showcase your portfolio. After a brief introduction to the GitHub ecosystem, we'll work together to get you up to speed with a GitHub account and make a storage location or repository for your personal web page. We'll learn some ways to link data, figures, and website links using Markdown, which is a way to format text into headers and paragraphs. Once we're finished, you'll walk away with your very own website and tools to include photos, graphs, and write-ups of your own work. Our speakers today are Professors Jill Naiman, and we were meant to be joined by another faculty member, but he is unable to join us. Jill is a teaching assistant professor at the iSchool at University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and a visiting scholar at NCSA, where she teaches and researches methods for efficient and engaging data visualization in technology fields. Before her current appointment, she completed the National Science Foundation and the Institute of Theory and Computation doctoral fellowships at Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. That's a mouthful. Her PhD in astronomy and astrophysics from the University of California, Santa Cruz, and is active in outreach and educational activities, particularly in the mentoring of students and development of open source visualization techniques. Please join me in welcoming Professor Jill Naiman.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. It is a mouthful. I think that's why there's so many acronyms involved. So let me share my screen and we'll get right into it. Okay, so Matthew Turk is also another one of the professors that works on data visualization at the School of Information Sciences, and he is actually in another meeting today having to do with data visualization. So I'm going to put on my my Matthew hat and do my best at introducing some of the extensions of GitHub. So we're going to just start by showing a few pages and some things that you can do with this free hosting service, and then we're actually going to get into some hands-on activities. You're going to set up your own GitHub account, and we're going to make your first page. And let me actually, while I'm here, grab my chat window and also my participants list here. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat, and I'll make sure that everybody gets sort of set up. Okay, so here is Matt's page. So he's not here, but his shoes are with us. And this, you'll note the address here has this github.io. So that's going to be the address of the pages that we're going to build. So this is freely hosted on this platform called And you can see that there's a lot of fancy things here. So he's got a timeline. He talks about his projects, what courses he's teaching, stuff like that. And so this is using sort of a template to build his personal web page around. So we're not going to use templates today, but just be aware that there are lots of examples if you go down this vein that you can look up and that are free to download and implement on GitHub. Um, just a few other examples. So here, this is his version of the course that we teach. This is also, again, hosted for free on GitHub.io. So this is a course page that he's built. Mine's a little less fancy. I haven't updated to the new scheme yet. But again, this is another way to build kind of a course web page. So you can build personal web pages, course web pages. We even in class, let's see if I can find it. I have too many things open. Yeah, so in the class that we teach, the thing that we do is we build web pages using something called IDLE. This is helping to build not just the static web pages that we're going to talk about, but some interactivity. So you can probably guess the theme of these pages, but so this is another way that, again, you can kind of host a data-centric web page. And so these ones are interactive. We won't be getting to that kind of stuff. We're going to be showing how you can kind of build a web page that has some information about you and talks a little bit about the work that you're doing. Okay, so we're going to get right into that. I think that's all I was going to say for those things. So let me actually go to GitHub and let me clean up my screen here a little bit so that I don't have this up here. Okay. So right now, I want everyone to sign up for a GitHub account. So I'm going to post in the chat github.com. So this is the page that I want everyone to go to and actually sign in. You're going to make a username, and I want you to sign in and create a page. And it will kind of look like this, but it's going to be a little bit emptier just because this is showing all of the updates that I've done to other repositories. And this is the list of different projects that I'm working on. So you should have probably nothing here when you first sign in. And once you've signed in, if you can put your hand up, once you've gotten to a page that looks kind of like this, if you can just use the participants panel, put your hand up that indeed you have signed up, that would be awesome. So I'm just going to wait a moment, make sure folks can sign up. And if you can't find the hand for any reason, you can reach out, let us know. You can also just put hand in the chat window too. And that's also fine. I think we're a small enough group that we can do that.
So Jill, when we're done, we should see a welcome to GitHub. Is that what we should see?
Yeah, you should see a welcome to GitHub. It should be, it should have like your username up here, whatever you sort of signed in as. And I think it should have this little welcome.
Oh, I think
here.
I need to select what kind of work I do.
That I can't help you with.
What do I do?
Yeah, so you'll know that you're sort of signed up if you, whenever you go to github.com, if you're signed in, it should have your username right up here. And then probably nothing so far here, but. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. And feel free if anyone's having any issues, please let me know either in the chat or you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask. So I'm not going to cover making interactive content. However, what I will do in active shameless self-promotion is I will link to our course web pages that actually talk about that, and all of the lecture notes, all of the, if you're comfortable with Python, all of the Python notebooks that you can do interactive content, and then also some ways to make interactive content either using JavaScript itself or a package called Vegalite. I'm just going to post that, and you can take a look, and feel free to reach out with questions. So let me post these two things here. So this is my version of this course, and then here is Matt. So Matt's got some extra Vegalite stuff. So yeah, like some shameless self-promotion. Okay, I'm just going to give one more minute for anyone else that wants to sign up with a GitHub account. And again, feel free to ping if there's any questions or issues.
Hey, Jill, when setting up my account, I've got all these questions to answer that I like.
You might be able to hit skip. But is there a skip button?
So skip this stuff if you're importing an existing repository.
Yeah, you can just skip everything.
Okay.
So once you've set up an account and you go to github.com, it should just sort of pop you into something that kind of looks like this, hopefully.
Oh, I think I am there.
Okay, perfect. So we don't have to click on anything else just yet. Okay, I'm gonna, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna lower everybody's hand. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create a new and very specifically named repository. So you can think of a repository as a place to store data, code, images, anything like that. And it does something called control. So if you mess something up, then you can go back and kind of roll back all of your changes. So we're not gonna make use of all of that. We're gonna make use of it for web hosting. So there's this green button right up here that says new. And so we're going to click on that green button. And when we do that, that's going to put us to a page that allows us to create a new repository. So I'm going to click on that green button that says new. And then I'm going to create a new repository with a very specific name. And it's going to be my username. So my username is JNAIMAN. And then I'm going to say .github.io. So I have this error because I already have a github.io account. So hopefully you should not get this error. And so we're going to make this public. And we're going to make sure that this first part here is our username.github.io. And then we're going to click on the create repository link. So once folks have done that, can you give a hand or a yes, I did it, or something like this? Awesome. Great. Just give folks another. Okay, I'm going to move on unless someone's like, wait, I have an issue, which you can post in the chat if you'd like. Yeah, you can. So the stuff, you shouldn't have to click on it. You can do where it says skip this step. You can ignore all of that. Awesome. Okay. All right. So definitely feel free to flag me down right now if anyone's still having some issues. We want to pause, totally happy to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to assume that we have this repository created. So if it doesn't automatically take you to that repository folder, there's a few ways to get there. You don't have to, my create account never lit up. Just going to continue scrolling. You don't absolutely need it today. This is being recorded, so you can definitely come back. And do feel free to send an email if you're having any issues creating the account too. So happy to circle back to that as well. Yeah, don't worry. I just wanted to make sure that we have time for people that want to set up now. And that's why, and I'm also very comfortable with long, awkward pauses, so not a problem either. Okay, so now so hopefully this is now taken you to that GitHub repository. If not, if you wandered off to somewhere if you go to github.com and you're logged in, you'll have a list of your repositories over here. So here I have arguably too many repositories, and you should see one that is your username and then / and then your username.github.io. So I'm going to click on that. And another way that we can get to this repository is if we check out the URL up here. So this is just github.com / my username.github.io. And so this is sort of this web page for this repository. So I have a few things in there that you probably don't have. So I have some cheat notes here that I'm also going to post right now into the chat window as well. So these are some files that we're going to be dealing with, and you can see that you leave comments when you upload things. So mine, I was having a lot of issues getting some of the file paths right here, and so you can see me not swearing but getting very close. And then I have a miscellaneous folder, so you won't have this. This just stores a bunch of other stuff that I happen to have on my github.io page. So this is all public. If you want to see all of my terrible notes, you're welcome to look at that. Okay, so let me go back to my main github.io page. So again, you probably don't have these folders. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so what we're going to do, there's a few ways that you can add folders to GitHub. You can do things on the command line, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to use this interface right here to create a new file, again, with a very specific name, and that will help create our web page. So I'm going to go to this button right here called Add File and go to Create New File. So next to this green code button right here, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit, actually. Look at that. Fabulous. Okay. So this button, Add button right here, and Create New. So I'm going to click on these things right here. Okay. And so now we have to name our file. Yours looks different. Okay, let me go back. So does it have your username, username.github.io? Perfect. Does it have an add file right here? Can we do this? There's no add file.
Neither does mine, Jill.
Uh-oh. Well,
mine looks like quick setup or create new repository on the command line.
Does it have an add a readme, anything like this?
It's got the code, issues, pull requests, actions, those menu items, but it doesn't have.
Is there a quick, that someone's saying there's a quick setup. Is there a quick setup?
There's a get started button. Oh, that took me, I didn't want to go there. Oh, now I'm someplace entirely wrong.
So I'm wondering if folks are folks on the create repository page. So let me go back. Let's go back to here. So we're past this page. We've clicked on the create repository.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, maybe they need
Please.
to read me or add git ignore or maybe license. Yeah.
I mean, we can try that. Let's see if I can reproduce. DPI. So let's see if I can't see what other folks have here. Aha. Perfect.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Awesome. So let's see. Let's click on this. So this is what people are seeing. So we're going to create on the create a new file right here. Thanks so much, folks, for stopping me there. I appreciate the feedback.
Is it always amongst the best to check the license box as a rule of thumb or no?
You do. You do want a license.
Is a must, right?
You don't have to. But if you don't have one, then so that's just sort of deciding who gets to use your code and for what reason. So it's good practice to click on the license, to include a license for sure. So you can definitely do that if we want. But I think we can say choose a license template if we want to get really fancy about it. We can choose an MIT license. So you can definitely do that if you feel like you have a license file. Okay, so here though, okay, so awesome. Okay, so I'm going to click on the create a new file, which I think is what folks have here. And we're going to call it index.md. Now I'm going to go back to where I was before just because this is where I want to host things. But now if instead of this interface, we clicked on that create new file button, we should be here. We should have the same kind of thing pop up. So let me know either in the chat or you can unmute yourself or anything if anyone's having any issues with this. If we're not here, please do let me know.
Sorry, Jill, quick question.
Awesome. Yeah, please.
Sorry, why index.md extension? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm going to talk about it and just, and that actually sets me up for what I'm going to talk about next.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, we would have gotten lost at the create a new file, and then we wouldn't even be here, and that would be so sad.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else not seeing this? We can talk about it more for sure. We got time. It's plenty of time to get lost and get found. Awesome.
Can I ask a quick question? Very quick.
Yeah, totally.
Because I already have
Please.
a GitHub repo from like 2 years ago or something.
Uh-huh.
Just I need a finesse. When you do, let's say, jnyman.github.io,
Mhm.
is that specifically, this is just a naming convention, or this is a rule if you want to publish some free website and something like that?
Yeah, this is a rule. When you set up when you sign into GitHub, you're allowed a free web page. Basically, there's ways to host other like sub pages, but for the purposes of this, you get the one page, and so you have to link it. So the github.io is this thing called GitHub Pages that we're gonna use to sort of host our web page, and so that's why it has this very specific name to it.
Thank you.
There's ways to get around it, but for the most part, it's better just to stick with your user at github.io. Okay, great. We got lost, we got found, we're doing great. Okay, so thank you so much again for all of these questions. So the one thing that I definitely want to point out is that .md. So this index.md, this is a very special kind of file called a markdown file. And this uses the markdown language that then gets compiled into something called an index.html file, which is what is going to show up as your web page. Okay, so we're not going to learn HTML. What we're going to learn is something quite more simple called Markdown. And so it is technically a programming language, but it probably is going to look very familiar to how you're used to writing, emails and things to friends and stuff like that. So, for example, I can write, hello, I am a web page. And this is a perfectly reasonable thing to put. We don't have to write any special text here. But let's say I want to break up my web page into sections. So I want to have different headings. One thing I can do is use this markdown language to specify when I'm having a heading. And so the way we do that is I just put this, what is it, the hashtag symbol. There's a more technical name for that. I just say this is a header. I can do subheaders kind of following the same pattern. So this would be, this is a subheader. I don't know. I think so. I think you can, but I would say try it and see if it works. Yeah, I've only used standard markdown this way. So I don't think I have a great answer for you on that. But I can look it up if you can't find, if it doesn't work or if you think it should. There's markdown things that don't work quite well. Okay, right. So now what we need to do, so this is our web page. We've put something on our web page, and I've added a header and a subheader. So now what I need to do is I need to commit this file. So that just means I'm going to save it on my GitHub page. So here down here, and I say, this is the comment that's left here. I could say something more specific. My first commit for my web page. And we can even put more description if we would like. Here, I'm just keeping this as is, nothing fancy here. And then we're going to click this green button, commit new file. It's going to take a moment, and then it's going to have this file show up in my github.io account. So I'm going to pause here and see if anyone has any issues with this. And yeah, Frank makes a really good comment that GitHub does in fact have their own markdown flavor, and it doesn't support everything you would like it to. So like embedding videos doesn't really work how you think it should. Okay, so I just want to make sure, again, these shouldn't be here, but this file should be here if we've everything right. So I'm just going to pause and make sure everybody's got that. You can. You totally can. We're not going to cover that. You can have them if you, it's called, My Binder is probably where you want. So if you want an instance to actually host this, we're not going to talk about it, but I'm going to post this here. So you can post a publicly available Jupyter notebook, and you can actually host it here and it'll be interactive and people can run it and do stuff with it. So we're not covering that, but just a heads up. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about including images here, but we're not going to talk about adding anything interactive. Again, say, as a form of shameless self-promotion, do out the data viz courses. Okay, so no one's yelling at me, so I think I'm going to continue on. Okay, so hopefully you'll see something that says environments here. So this is telling us what is being built to our GitHub pages. So there's a few ways we can check and see that our GitHub page has actually been built. So let me go here. So one thing I can do is just go to my github.io page, and lo and behold, I now have a markdown page. So this is my just plain text. This is the first header that I put. So we can kind of, I'm going to go click on this index.md file again. So here we are. So this is how it's going to look on the page. And so this is basically how we made headers and subheaders. So that's one thing. So I just want to pause and make sure that folks are cool with this. It can sometimes take a little while to build into this page. So that's the other thing I want to cover here. If I go back to my main page here where it says environments, I can click on environments. And this will give me a history of when things have been built. So this is telling me that my GitHub page has been built and that it's active, and it was active 2 minutes ago. So if anything, if you're not seeing updates on your page, if you change something, you can always go to your deployments here. And so again, I got here from here. No environment button, it might take a moment. But if the page is active, we're gonna gloss over it. Yay, free web hosting, it's alive. Okay, so let's do a few more things. So I'm gonna go back here and let me go to my index.md file. Okay, so this is all fine. But what I want to do is I want to edit this file, right? So we've made some text, we've added headers, subheaders, but let's continue on. Yay, you're alive. It's science. Could not using, yeah, that can definitely happen. So if you don't have your exact username, then you might be running into issues. So yeah, that's why we made sure that this is, my username, myusername.github.io. There are other ways you can like publish without your username there, but this is sort of the easiest. Yeah, so definitely, Frank, I would double check. So just let me know if you think that maybe is the issue. You can definitely go back. So I'm just going to hover over this so people can see the next button that we're going to click. Yeah, you can import notebook files into here and see them. So they will look like, I'm gonna, while we wait, oops, where did it go? There we go. So yeah, so they'll look, oh no, this is not what I want. Sorry. So this is the GitHub page that was then made into a course web page. So if I go to a notebook here, it'll actually render for you. It won't be interactive in this case, but it will. You can see it rendered. So that will definitely work. So the hashes are not, that's a great question. So the hashes are not relative to anything. This is sort of, just the markdown language. Clicked on the index, what do you get? Yeah, yes, we're going to click on, so if you, if we already have an index.md file and we want to edit it, you click on this little edit symbol right here. So you would have to link it explicitly in the, so you could have a link to it on your github.io, but to render it would be a little bit more tricky. And again, I would suggest my binder. It's not interactive, so you probably just take a screenshot that we'll talk about as well. Okay, any other before, I'm going to click on this edit this button, but I don't want to leave anybody behind if there's issues. So someone can just, yell in chat, stop, hold on. That's totally reasonable. Awesome. Groovy. Okay, I'm going to click on this, edit this file. So just as a reminder, the way I got there, so this is my main repository. I clicked on the index.md file, and then I scrolled down to here to the little pencil, and I'm going to click on edit this file. Okay, so now I'm back in my page here. Okay, so I'm going to just add a few other things. Let me actually look at my notes. What did I add last time? I don't want to leave anything out. So there's some ways that we can organize what we're talking about. So for example, I can make an unordered list. And so the way that I do that is, again, this is, when I write emails, sometimes this is how I make lists and emails. So it's the exact same thing. So this would be my first bullet point. This would be my second bullet point, and this would be my third bullet point. And I can also make ordered lists. So I can also make an ordered list. So I would put 1. So I would say this is first thing. And now what I can do is I can actually just keep repeating 1 dot. So I could say 1 dot second item, and then 1 dot third item. And this way, I don't have to keep track. I can reorganize my ordered list if I want. And this will actually get compiled into the numbers 1, 2, and 3. So again, you can make unordered list with little star symbols. Yeah, same thing in Google Colab. So this is just Markdown. If you've ever played around with that, same deal. Okay, so I'm going to now say that I'm adding in some lists into my commit changes. And I'm just going to press this green button right here. And so now we can see our changes in 2 places. So here is my updated sort of preview of my page. This is my GitHub repository. This hasn't been pushed yet, or I haven't checked at any rate to my actual published web page. So here we can see that 1 dot compiled into 1, 2, 3 for us. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to refresh my actual publishable web page here and see if it's shown up yet. So I think it's taking a bit of a moment, which is fine. So this is where we could check my deployments. So I think it's still sort of thinking about it. So this might take a moment. 25 seconds ago. So let's see. Now it might be updated. Nope, not yet. So again, this is one of those ones where you've published something and you kind of are just going to click this button for a while, which is very irritating. But at any rate, I think in the interest of time, we might move on, and then I'll just come back and we can see. Yeah, there we go. So now, so that's sort of the lag time. You can add metrics. We're not going to cover that. I think you can, probably the easiest way to do is look for some kind of Google code that will do that for you. But there is a way to do it. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go back. So is anyone angry at this point? Is anyone upset? I'm going to go back to the edit button again, and we're just going to keep adding stuff. But I want to give people the opportunity to yell at stuff. Unordered points aren't formatted properly. So it could be in that the order isn't like, it's not going up in a nice way. So one thing I have done, let's see if I can break it. I'm going to delete the space that was there. Oh, you're unordered, sorry. Yeah, so let me see if I can break it in that way. So what I'm going to do is delete that space. And you'll see that it's trying to do something else. So I'm going to say commit changes, and we can take a look at the preview really quick. Yeah, now I've, because I don't have that space for me put in here, I have this first bullet point showing up here. So yeah, that's the only tricky part about Markdown, is that there's sort of very specific ways we have to do stuff. So here I have to make sure that there's a space, just a single space right there. What it's trying to do if you have one space, so this is italicized. I think that's close to how italicized is spelled. I can also bold things. But yeah, if you're missing any spaces or anything like that, that can be an issue. So I just want to make sure that that's okay with folks. But yeah, great. That's a great, awesome. Yeah, great point. So this is, because we're kind of trying to communicate with a programming language. As someone described to me, programming with a computer is like talking to a child. You have to be very specific about exactly what's going on, which is maybe not accurate because there's children at least cute, computers not so much. Okay, so we have some of those formatting things that we have to sort of be worried about. So let me just press this green button again. So here's some examples of italicized and bolded text. I'm going to keep adding stuff here. Okay, so some of the things we want to add into our web page are things like figures from other places on the internet, or stuff like our own images. So I'm going to quickly cover that stuff. So the way that we can add, so let me write this down. So I am going to add, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to add a figure here from the web. And so this is another case, as was awesomely pointed out by folks, that we have to be very careful when we're kind of writing things. And so the way we're going to add link to an image is, I'm going to fill in these parts for a second. So I put an exclamation point. I put those square brackets where I'm going to put some alt text. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put a link on a web page, and I'll post one in the chat in a second. So actually, let me do that right now. So let me actually put that in here, and then I'll post it right here. So if you want to try a link to an image, here's one right here. Okay, and I'm going to put in some alt text. So this is alt text for this figure. Ideally, we would put in something a little bit more accessible than what we're putting in here. So this would be corgi in a hat. Okay. So now I'm just going to see that if it works. So I'm going to press on the commit changes button. And let me zoom for the moment, zoom out. So now I've added this very in-theme picture of a corgi. So is anyone having issues adding this image here? I'm going to go back to the edit directory here and just see if anyone's having issues adding a picture. You could, of course, put your own picture in, but why not a corgi? They're great. You mean from up here? So this has to be a very specific name. This has to link to your github.io page. There are templates that will update this for you. So I would say probably I'm trying to think of some good resources. If I can definitely post some to the awesome DPI organizer folks here. So yeah, I can send some stuff to Karen et al. Yeah, so you want to make sure work, right? So you mean if I take off this part right here? So it will work if I take this off right here. Oops, sorry. So yeah, you definitely have to have it your username. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, so if the corgi is no longer at that address, then we're going to have an issue. So what we'll talk about now is including your own photos. So corgi in hat. Something's not working. Do we have, let me zoom in here. So we need to make sure that we have this exclamation point and square brackets and then the parentheses. I'll even post this in the chat window as well. So this is our, oh, perfect. Yeah, so you've got a space between here and here. Yeah, so we have to have them right up next to each other. So those are the things that are a little bit tricky about Markdown. And again, I'll make sure to post some resources to learn a little bit more about Markdown. Okay, so I'm going to commit changes. Just make sure we still have our corgi there. There's our corgi. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to keep editing things. So one thing before we add our own image, one thing that I might want to do is add in a web link somewhere. So I can also add in hyperlinks to places. Yeah, you'll see a lot of overlap between HTML and Markdown. You can also actually make your own index.html page here, but we're going to use Markdown for people that don't want to learn more coding stuff, because that's, you know, a whole other thing. So I'm going to add in a hyperlink. So I'm going to hyperlink to Google, to places like Google. So again, I have to make sure in this case that I have my word in the brackets here, but I don't have an exclamation point in front of it. I'm going to put in https www.google.com. So let me just show how that looks, and then I'll come back to this. So I'm going to press the commit button. I see questions, but just give me a moment here. So now we have kind of a hypertext link, so I can click on that. It'll take me to Google. So this is how we can add in hypertext. I'm going to keep editing this. Let's see. Yeah, you can definitely, you can do that. So you can, so let's do that now, actually. I'm going to show how to link a picture. Okay. Let me zoom out just a smidgen. Okay, so since we've got 7 minutes left, I'm going to show how we can update or we can load pictures of our own work. So let's say I'm a nice graph. Let me grab a picture.
Jill, how did you get back to the main directory?
Yeah, so this is if we're in so here I am. So this is where I was, we were editing this file. So there's a few ways to do this. You can click on that page, or we can also look at the structure of this whole thing up here of our web page here. And I can just delete all this blob master stuff. Will also, oops, sorry, I didn't delete everything. And this will also take me to this page as well. So yeah, that's the other thing we can do.
What was the first one?
Yeah, so if I am here, I can click on this link right here, jnamon.github.io.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to grab a screenshot of an image that I made before. So let's say you have made some graph you want to show. with your data. You want to show off some cool part of your data. So here we're going to do, I'm just going to make a screenshot. So on something other than the Mac, oops, no, I don't want to do that. Sorry. So I'm just going to selection. So you can take a screenshot, or you can, use something maybe you've outputted with Python if you're, doing some programming. So let me save this to something. So I'm going to save this as test upload photo.png. Okay, so this is my little image. Let me do a little bit of space manipulation here. Okay, so I'm going to go to that add file button here. And this time I'm going to go to upload files. So I'm going to upload this file onto my GitHub account here. Okay, so you can either, I can drag this and put this in here if I'm comfortable with that, or I can remember where I saved, which was here, my test upload photo. So I'm going to open up that, and I'm going to press that green button again. So now it's processing my file, it's uploading, it's commenting on what I'm uploading. And now I have this test photo.png. So I'm going to just pause a moment. I know, yay, awesome. Okay, let me quickly just do one more thing and then, so I'm going to go back to my index.md file. And again, this is recorded. I know this last bit is a little bit quick. So now what I want to do is add a link, not to this page right here, but something that I've actually uploaded. And so I'm going to open two things. Sorry, let me close that. So I'm going to have this index file I was updating, and I'm also going to click on here and go to where this is stored on my GitHub account here. Okay, I'm going to click on go to file. Oops, no, sorry. Okay, I'm going to just check out where this is stored. So this is on my github.io, and it's called test upload photo. You can call it something else. Okay. So I have this web address up here. So I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to go back to my index.md file. I'm going to click on edit this file. And then I'm going to quickly add in a link to the file, the photo I uploaded. So it's going to look very similar. Oops, sorry, exclamation point. And this will be a photo I uploaded. And I'm going to copy that web address that I got from going to this particular test photo. So again, I got there from my main GitHub page. I clicked on test upload photo, and I grabbed this web address up here. And then I'm going to add one quick little extra thing, which is a question mark raw equals true. So this will make sure that I'm actually linking where this is stored on kind of the raw page. And I'm going to click commit changes, and we're going to take a quick look. So now I've got that photo, and I've also got this photo. And if I go to my actual page, this might again take some moments to upload. So let's see if while this is uploading, let me go back to right here and make sure that folks can see how I got here. Yeah, so the reason that I added the raw equals true is that there's the how the page is stored kind of with this nice GitHub interface, and then there's the actual like raw storage location of this image. And so if I just linked without that raw equals true, it would try and link to this page as opposed to the image. And this page has all this extra stuff like the interface on it. And so I want to actually link to this particular photo itself. So that's sort of the hand wavy answer to that. And yeah, you can use CSS or external CSS files. So that kind of comes into using kind of more stuff. So if I go to, let me go to here and just some examples. So here's an example homework from our data viz. So I've got something that's been compiled into HTML. And then I've also got CSS stylings in here. So this is a little bit, you can actually put, if you write everything in HTML, using your own CSS stylings, write your own index.html, you can just upload all